Hey everyone, this is Robert, and thank you for tuning in to Station Square. And hope everybody's doing well. I know it's kind of been really hot over here in LA, and we're kind of approaching, I guess is it the dog days of summer? Like usually the hottest time of the year. I don't even know anymore. It's always hot, but today, we're going to be chatting with somebody who's been in the business for a while, and they've done more than, if I'm not mistaken, like over 1,600 voiceover spots, and counting. Like, I'm not even sure if that's even like, the real estimate of how much they've been working over the summertime or if they've just been recording for the past year alone. But ladies and gentlemen, we have Jeff Williams sitting here in the corner with me and here to grace us with that lovely background of his of all these celebrities and artists. But just pretty much all these people that he's got behind him and that little popcorn that I just now noticed. So thank you, Jeff, for joining me. And yeah, nice little setup here. And as you can see, I'm a nerd, so I've got stuff in the background myself. Just gotta be, you know, gotta
Got to
have
be
a
great.
colorful, background. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but thank you for joining me this afternoon.
Well,
Really
thanks
pleasure
for
getting to
having me. I really appreciate you hitting me up and asking me to come on.
Yep, absolutely. I guess we'll just start with I'm not gonna ask like how you got started, but rather how this year has been for you, because I know you've been really busy just doing so many different spots. Like, I can't even list them all. So, how has 2023 been for you so far? Since it's now August, which is insane.
Yeah, that is insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's been right on par with 2022. 2022 was super busy. And I did probably, I don't know, 13 to 1400 spots in 2022, probably roughly about the same this year. I would say the last probably 2 months have been just a little bit slower for me than normal. But it's like we were saying before we came on, summer sometimes slows down a little bit and then kind of kicks back into gear, especially when Christmas is coming around and the holidays and everybody starts advertising a little more for the holidays. So yeah, I think roughly overall about the same.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much like the same with me. Like, I mainly do character work, like character, like for video games and animation. So I will say around this time, like July and August, is kind of like when it slows down a bit. Then September, October hits, and suddenly I'm like, okay, wow, I'm doing all this at once. Okay. um,
Do you
just
feel
gotta
like
keep track. Yeah.
Do you feel like the strike has affected any? I know the strike is it's okay to still do commercial work, but what about your stuff?
I will say that the strike, well, I'm actually not in a union. I mean, I definitely support the strike. For me personally, I think like if you're doing VO for like a while, like I have, like say 5, 6 years, and you're kind of doing it freelance. I know that when it comes to working on the stuff that is affected by the strike, it's kind of like, that's sort of a gray area because you don't really know what's affected and what's not. So that's something that you got to be really careful about. But
Yeah.
so far, I will say that most of the audition, like I usually get stuff sent to me via email, so I know that the stuff that I've been working on hasn't been affected by the strike as far as I'm aware of. So I know that I should be safe for now. I know that I should be okay for the
I
time
wonder.
being.
I bet it's
Yeah.
slowed down some of what's
It
going
definitely
on.
did. Yeah. I know it's kind of, I won't say that it's probably because of the strike, but I know that with so many actors like that are out, um, you know, um uh, they're outside the studios or doing anything else. Like I know that they can't really work on stuff that is like um for companies that are being affected by it, so that can definitely slow things down a little bit for
I
sure.
can tell you, I try to stay as plugged in as I can and as
Yeah,
connected
same
as I
here.
can. One of the best organizations is by Tim Friedlander and Karin Gilfrey, and it's called NAVA, or I think that stands for National
Yeah, yeah.
Association of Voice Actors. And I'm a member of NAVA, and it's really good when it comes to information, like what's covered, what's not covered under the strike, and all that good stuff. Good
Yeah.
people, really good people.
That's actually the perfect like plug-in plug. You can watch the interview I did with Lindsay Russo. Yeah, I'm terrible with pronouncing last names, so please forgive me. But she's one of the founding members, if I'm not mistaken, for Nava. I mean, she's definitely heavily involved with it. So I did an interview with her, and if you want to like more information on that, definitely check that out. It's up on my YouTube and Spotify, where you can listen to us just ramble about Nava and we talk about Star Wars for a little bit, just off-topic stuff that I
I'm a
usually,
Star Wars nerd
yeah.
too, so
Yeah, so we cut like for the show that I do, like we usually ramble about a lot of stuff. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, like if you're watching the show. Um, and yeah, I think for everything else, it's like, whatever happens, like we'll just wait. We'll just see where this is gonna go in the future. Like updates, anything, just yeah, who knows? We don't know what's going to be the outcome, but I'm always someone who's very optimist, and I'm always up for positivity. You know what I mean?
yep, I'm the
Yeah, for a
same.
better future. Yep. So, anyways, so for VO in particular, like, was this something that you've always like? If we were to talk about your background a little bit, like, was this always something that you wanted to do, or did you kind of like um was it kind of like, okay, so you were doing something else and then you kind of fell into VO after some time had passed? Like, what's your story?
Well, my story is a little bit long, but I'll try to abbreviate it. But
All right. Yep.
I'm a bit of an onion, is what I say. I have lots of layers, like Shrek. But
Yep.
I so I'm my day job. I'm a chiropractor, and I also own a medical clinic. So it's my clinic, but I'm in there. We have a nurse practitioner, so medical services. We got an acupuncture, 3 massage therapists, exercise rehabilitation, and so we got all of that in one clinic, and that's kind of my main job. And that's why I'm not a full-time voiceover yet because for some folks, it's easier to replace their full-time income. It's harder to replace my full-time income. And so that's why I'm still kind of in a transition period where I'm just doing everything all at once, right? But to back up a little bit, I was I've been a chiropractor since 1998. I'm that old. I'm kind of giving away my age there, but um, I was also a touring musician, like a guitar player, a singer-songwriter, and so I'm very experienced with the whole studio feel and vibe and the recording and stuff like that. We recorded a couple of albums, but of course, bands never stick together; they all break up, and and so um, later on, COVID's what really pushed me and a lot of other voice actors into the industry because um, owning a healthcare clinic, you can only imagine people stopped going anywhere and they stopped going into healthcare clinics as well. In fact, they even shut us down by the state. The state shut us down for a couple of weeks and then only emergency cases and stuff like that. So it was really affecting the bottom line. And if you remember, nobody really knew how long this was going to last. And so I thought, well, I better start. I'm a bit of a chameleon, and so I thought, well, I better start figuring out another way to make a living because you never know. Well, my longtime buddy, my very first band I ever had was in Louisiana, Northwest Louisiana, in Natchitoches, and and his name is Andy Field, and Andy is the character of Hand Unit in Five Nights at Freddy's, and so he was my very first drummer in my very first band. We went to college together. And I noticed him posting things on Facebook when he would do a demo or he'd get a big gig or something like that. And I thought, man, it's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool. And I was very, very intrigued by it. So when I couldn't really work in the clinic, I started just texting him going, "Hey, what's this all about?" And he kind of mentored me, and he still does to this day. We've gotten now I'm to the point where I can help him out on some things, and but he still mentors me for the most part. But really kind of led me down the right path. Here's the good coaches. Here's the good demo producers. Here's the good agents. Hey, let me put a word in with my agent here for you, and all that. So he opened some doors for me, and kind of made the landing a soft landing, and really gave me a head start. And so yeah, that's kind of when it started for me, was 2020, and what was a bit of a part-time for me turned into a full-time job on top of my full-time job. So now I basically have two full-time jobs.
Wow.
For the
Yeah,
long story.
because yeah, totally. Doctor chiropractor for over 20 years. So do you feel that oh, and also like I was just mentioning earlier, you've have these sketches that you have behind you. You've done sculptures. You were like in a band. So with all of that live experience, would you say that it translated well? You carried those skills with you when you finally decided to take the plunge behind the microphone?
I think so. Yeah, I think a lot of people are very uncomfortable hearing their voice for the first time, and there's a bit of a
Trust me, I
yeah. There's a bit of a
I'm
growth
no
process with
exception.
it. And I think performing in front of crowds, different crowds every night, and learning to deal with people, plus just customer service with clients. You know, if you think about me as a chiropractor, an average day for me, I'll see anywhere from 35 to 55 patients. So I'm having 35 to 55 different conversations every single day. So pretty, I think, well adapted to having conversations, being easy to get along with and easy to work with. Plus, I think just my life experience, I value customer service. I value being dependable and doing a good job, and so I think all of that goes into hopefully a successful voiceover business.
Oh yeah, because for VO, it's like you said, it is a business. It can be a business where you can have fun, but most of the work it's about, and we were just talking about this, you never know what jobs that's gonna be coming in. Like, and most of the work, you have to be the one that's like, okay, so you're kind of pretty much your own boss. You have to look for pretty much most of the stuff they had to do. It's mostly depends on yourself. I mean, you can have an agent, you can have like, some help, but most of the I will say that a lot of the stuff, you're kind of managing your own business. Like you're working with new clients and working with repeat clients and connecting with folks, maintaining friendships, and there's a lot that goes into it. And when the time is right, updating your demos and website and everything, which is a whole separate, that's a different discussion for like another video. So, when it comes to managing your business and everything that you're doing and marketing yourself, which I know for some folks like me, it can be pretty tricky. Um, you know, um, because you can have like because like me, you can have your booth, you can have like a killer demo, but if you don't know how to like market yourself to people and selling without coming across as like desperate, like I mean, it pretty much is like a selling type of thing. So if you don't know how to do that, it's like, well, shoot.
Well, they
um
say it's not who you know, it's who knows
who
you,
knows you?
who,
Yeah.
whose voice, whose head your voice is in. So when they see things come across, they go, "Oh, I got the perfect guy for that." And you audition, you have a better chance. You may not get it, but you have a
Yeah.
better chance. And I can tell you, I've probably got 8 regional agents, and I'm with Celia Siegel Management. And I'm telling you, man, you can have all of those things in your pocket
Yep.
and still just, I mean, you still don't know when the next one's coming, and I'm not
Totally.
convinced. I'm not convinced agents give you at least regional agents, I'm not convinced they give you a huge leg up. You get the auditions, but you still got to win them, and
Yeah.
it's competitive.
Like you have no idea how much a word of mouth, even if it's a referral or if you've worked with somebody before, you have no idea how much that can really like it can be extremely it's super important that you make making first impressions and making establish good relationships with it could be a fellow actor, a client. It can really go a long way. Just be nice to people. That's
Oh,
pretty much what it all is about. No one likes a jerk.
so
That's all
I'm
I'm gonna
big.
say.
Yeah, I'm big on conferences. Like I think it's really so from taking my experiences from the chiropractic world
Oh, you
and
mean
moving
the
into the
voiceover
voiceover world.
conferences?
I'm,
Oh, I was just asking, you mean
yeah,
like the
I'm
voiceover
I'm
conferences? Okay.
absolutely, yeah. I'm in statewide leadership for the chiropractic profession, and going to the chiropractic seminars and conferences has built such a network of friends and colleagues that I couldn't even begin to tell you. And so when I started with chiropractic or with voiceover, and I noticed, hey, they have voiceover conferences. Like you can go to these, and I thought, I'm going to these. And so far, I've been to One Voice in Dallas last year. I had to miss this year because we had an Alaskan cruise, which was amazing. But I went to One Voice Dallas last year, and then I went to VO Atlanta, and then I'll be at VO Atlanta again this year. But the point being is that if the whole point is to market yourself, the best way to do that is get face to face in the same room with somebody, shake their hand, tell them how much you appreciate their work and all of that good stuff. But what made me think about conferences was Troy Baker. I did the online attendee thing for this last One Voice in Dallas, and Troy Baker was the keynote speaker. And he said one of the key things he said is never be the one they're waiting on. So you're saying don't be a jerk, right? To me, that's part of don't be a jerk. Don't be the one everybody's waiting on. Be on time, be dependable, and have your crap together. But go to
Mhm.
conferences too.
Yep, absolutely. So I wanted to ask you, I mean, I'm pretty sure I may just save this to the end when it comes to advice, but you mentioned you've worked with Andy Field for a number of years, so I guess so far in your career, what's the biggest, I guess, lesson or advice that he either gave you or somebody else taught? Like, what's the piece of advice that you um carry with you every day as part, when it comes to voiceover or just anything that you do in life? What's the number one, like, moral or lesson that really stuck with you all this time that you still carry to this very day?
Golly, that's tough to narrow that down. I shared one with you is it's just customer service. It's a business. We got in this because we enjoy it and it's fun, but never lose sight of the fact that it's a business and businesses depend on marketing. And you can't just do what you do. You have to be a marketer of what you do. And so just think about McDonald's or not McDonald's. Sorry, let me back up. Now this won't be as effective. But think of hamburgers. People think of McDonald's automatically, but nobody on the planet really thinks McDonald's has the best hamburger out there. They were just the best at marketing their hamburgers and connecting with people. So I would say don't just be a doer of what you do, be a marketer of what you do if you want to be successful at it. And then there's another saying by an old marketing guru named Dan Kennedy that is you can't do business sitting on your ass, which
Yeah.
means you have to hustle and you have to market, you have to go to conferences and meet people and get in the same room with them. You have to take coaching from people who are gatekeepers and game changers. Don't take coaching from somebody that has no influence in the industry. You've wasted your money. You might have learned some stuff and got better at auditions, but ultimately if you're trying to life hack this thing, then take coaching from people who are gatekeepers and decision makers and people who can change your life. because that's the same thing. You're getting in the same room with these influential people, and who knows, maybe you even make friends out of them. But yeah, you can't do business sitting on your ass. You have to make good decisions and get after it.
Absolutely. And I know for you in particular is so I don't want to talk about like, I usually don't talk about how long it actually takes to, you know, really get established, but would you say that it's something that you still had to learn along the way, like getting to learn the ropes from, Andy and everybody else that you've worked along, that you've coached with, or was it something that came organically based on your background of chiropractic and, bands and, doing everything that you've been doing over the last 20 years prior to VO?
I would say it's honestly a combination of things that got me
Mhm.
where I am as quickly as I have. But I will tell you that the key to success in any industry is to have a mentor. I mean, that's the key. You you are able to have some doors opened up to you that maybe wouldn't be open up to everybody else. You have advice, you have friendship, you have somebody who knows what you're going through and who lots of the time is going through the same thing you're going through. Like I said, I've been in it 3 years now, so to the point where sometimes Andy will bounce stuff off of me instead of me always pestering him about stuff. So it's good to have that friendship, but I think the most important key to success in any industry, whether it's real estate, business, stocks, voiceover, the art world, whatever it would be, is to have a mentor.
Yeah. I also think that, having a good, group of people who can help you, um, I mean, you really can't go like you're going to be stuck spinning your wheels if you don't have a really good coach or if you don't have a good, accountability group or anybody who can really help you along the way. Because a lot of it, it's really, like I said, it's who knows you. Like we were just discussing before, but having a group of people who are by your side, they can definitely put you in the right direction. That can go such a long way. It really does.
Percent.
Yeah. Um, but you did mention Star Wars, so I gotta ask, like, what is it about Star Wars that means so much for you personally?
Man, I don't know. I'm giving away my age again, but I am of the age where I got to see the originals in the theater when they came out. And I remember growing up, my best friend since the time we were 5 years old, we would go together and we'd get the little action figures and if I knew what kind of a market the collectors have built around stuff like that, I would have saved all that stuff. But I had all the figures and all of that stuff. So I don't know, man, just imagination. I think anybody that's a creative or has any kind of imagination at all has to be at least intrigued by Star Wars because it's a great story overall to start with, especially the first three. It's a great story, and then space and all these different sorts of characters and all of that. It's just food for the imagination for sure. Plus, I was
Absolutely.
sitting back and wondering how'd they do that? How'd they film that? How'd they build that and create that out of
Yeah.
absolutely nothing? So I love just thinking about that stuff too.
Yeah. So, what else also is a huge part of your life that really inspires you to continue, doing what you love doing each day, like media, movies, or just anything that you want to share?
I do love movies. We go to the movies every single weekend, even if it's stupid. And I don't think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is stupid or anything, but it's not something that is usually on my radar where I've got it marked on my calendar. Oh, I can't wait till this comes out. But there wasn't much out last weekend, and so my daughter, she's 16. Um, she and I just said, let's go to this one. And I loved it. It was a great movie. If you haven't seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the new one, Go. It's wonderful. And then she drugged me to Barbie, and that was but but I love movies. I love music. Of course, being a former traveling musician, um, I really love music and discovering new music and stuff like that. And nerdy enough, I like business. I like the idea of maybe even retiring early and just doing voiceover full time. So we do a little bit of real estate. I've got I got a long term rental, and then I have two Airbnb houses here in the Texas Panhandle, and so kind of I've just got all kinds of stuff. I told you I'm an onion.
For sure. Um, and I think it's really important that we share our love of, you know, movies or video games or whatever it is that inspire us, whether it's through a performance or just a story. Like we're all storytellers and we're
Oh
all
yeah.
just giant, kids. We're just kids who never grew up and we're out here just sharing our love for anything that we do?
I think I think what I left out is the obvious behind me is art, man. I'm like you mentioned, I'm a sculptor and a painter, and I do the sketching and all of that stuff, and I've been able to share that with my daughter, who's now like she gets paid more money than I do to paint animals for people, paint dogs and stuff. It's crazy what she can do, but that I would say if I had to pick one big love in my life, it's pretty much all kinds of art.
Yep. So, what is something else that you want to share? Like any of that is not under NDA, of course. Anything that you would like to, I guess, plug or, that you want people to check out since, it's we're now getting to the time where you could just plug and share your stuff you know, if you want to do that, of course. It's the self promo part of the
Awesome.
podcast.
Well, that's very kind of you. Um, Man, I've had a lot of really fun projects. I voiced the character of King, who is a Elvis character in a video game called I can't believe I'm blanking on. Oh, King of no, something. Holy cow! How can I forget that? Anyways, it's King, and it's a fighting game by Modus. Holy cow! I have to look this up. You gotta give me a sec. I cannot believe I've blanked on this. Um, anyway, you can edit this out. um, Rhythm based. God of Rock. Thank you. I wanted to say, I said King and it threw me off. Anyways, it's a video game. It's a fighting game called God of Rock. I'm the Elvis character named King. And then the same studio has me as the stadium announcer for a football game called Maximum Football that's supposed to be coming out hopefully next month, which is a cool deal. And then I've just voiced a character. It's not under NDA, but it hadn't come out yet. His name's Dr. Carnival for Hotel Barcelona or something like that. And so that's been fun getting all put together. So done a little bit of video game stuff, mostly commercials. I've done some stuff for World Series of Poker and Grizzly tools and trucks and stuff like that. I have a truck voice, I think, and stick this burger in your mouth and drink this beer type of voice. So been doing a lot of that stuff, and just Kia Sorrento I did one for, and Honda, and man, all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, my website is jeffwilliamsvoice.com. You can find me on all the social medias at Jeff Williams VO. On Facebook, I'm Jeff Williams voice actor. So yeah, pretty easy to find.
Yeah. And any last words that you'd like to share before we conclude this little episode?
Can't do business sitting on your ass.
Pretty much. Yeah. What he said. Um, Let me see. Um, a little bit of an extra question. If you were in the world of Star Wars, what would you do? Who would you hang out with? Just pretty much what would happen if you were in of, you know,
If I were in Star Wars,
yeah.
man, I'd be hanging out with Han Solo. He's my kind of guy. Luke is a little whiny. He's a little too wiry and energetic. Uh, I think uh, I think Ben is a little too serious, and so Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think he's a little bit too serious. So I think I'd be hanging out with Han Solo. He's my kind of people.
Yeah.
I got a little. I'm professional, but I got a little bandit to me too.
Yeah. And it's been forever since I've seen Star Wars, so I wouldn't even tell you what I would do.
Well, it's time to refresh.
Of course, like I've heard about Mandalorian and the new stuff that's been out, so definitely at least I
I've
got
seen it
something
all.
to check out. Yeah. No, I've got some binging to do. Binging.
Baby
Um,
Yoda, come on, man.
yeah, I mean, I've got like accounts for like Disney Plus, so what's my excuse? So, anyways, I think that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and be sure to stick around for the next episode whenever that comes out. My schedule is definitely all over the place. That's something to get better with time management. Yeah, so until then, thank you for watching and stick around for next time. This is Robert Jackson signing out, and until then, have a good one, folks. Stay cool, stay creative, and stay awesome. Adios, amigos.